Hello there, my name is Marissa Muskie, and today I'll be teaching you the basics of the brick stitch. You'll be needing some beads and some thread and a beading needle. For the beads, I would recommend getting some Delica beads because they're very nicely shaped, perfect for this kind of thing. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. For this video, I'll be using these square beads because I think they'll stack up nicely for the bricks in the brick stitch. And I'll also be using this white thread as I think that'll be a bit easier to see. So the first thing you'll want to do to start off your brick stitch is grab 2 beads. Now first we're actually going to be doing the ladder stitch, and then we'll kind of build off of that with the brick stitch. So you'll grab 2 of your beads, and then what I always do is I take my 2 and then I slide my needle back through, creating a circle around. Just pull that through. And then I usually like to do that 2 times just to make sure that it's nice and stable. And if you go back through the first one, just the first one, not both, you'll see that it automatically flip over into a nice little row. Here's that a bit closer up, and we're actually just going to add another bead. What you do for that is you grab another bead and you would go through the bead that the thread is coming out of. And again, that's just going to make a circle. So you just pull that tight, and then it stacks up nicely just like the other ones. And I'll usually go back through. If you want to continue this row, you'll need to add on to the end here. And if you want to stabilize this a little bit, like I probably want to because these beads are a bit bigger, just go back around that there. You just go back around, go through one more time, and then you are back where you started. Alright, you can see that we have 4 beads for our foundation. That's nice enough to work off of. So for the next row, I'll be teaching you how to do the brick stitch itself instead of just the ladder stitch to continue. Now, typically for more straight looks, you do an increase and then a decrease on this side. So I'll just be teaching you how to do an increase, and then we'll do decrease on the next row. So you'll want to pick up 2 beads and then take your needle and slide under these threads here. Just pull that on through. You'll see that they kind of look lopsided, but in order to make them lay perfectly flat, you'll just take your needle and stick it through this bead here. Pull it tight. Go. They're nice and in there. So for the next stitch, we're actually going to take 1 bead this time. Same as last time, we'll go under those threads there and pull through. See, that kind of lines up. We will go through this bead, pull it tight. There we have that part of the row. Now to finish this increase, we'll actually want to add 2 beads here. So you'll want to pick up 1 bead and pull it through and go under and back through that same bead. Now if you wanted to make this straight or just decrease this row, you'd pretty much just leave that there. But like I said, we want to increase this one, so we'll need 2. I'm going to pick up that 1 more bead, and I'm going to go through the same like little under thread I went through on the previous bead. See that there? Pull that right on through. It kind of wants to flip around. And just like all the rest, we're going to go back through that bead and pull it tight. And here we are. There is our increase. And then we just want to flip it over for the next row. Right, for this row, we're going to do a decrease. So, surprisingly, you'll actually need to pick up 2 beads for this row as well, much like the increase row. Now, instead of going on the next one to go under, you're actually going to go the 1 second from side that you're going in from. So this one would be if you wanted to increase, you go in this far. If you want to decrease, you take your 2 beads, go through, and go under that bead. Have that decrease. Now I kind of find that this bead sometimes is a little bit wacky. It doesn't like to sit as perfectly as I'd like it to. A lot of times what I will do is I'll just go under here, and then I'll go up through these beads. You kind of just weave around until it it lays in the desired the way you would like it to. So there we go. Let's make it lay flat. So I'm actually just going to go up through here. And we'll go up through there so that way we are in the same spot that we should have been for the previous stitch. And then you can see that they're all laying nice and flat. So I'm just going to pick up 1 bead and go through that thread there. I'm going to go back through the bead that we just laid down. Tight. And then 1 more. Go under through that thread and then through that previous bead that we just laid down. And there we go. We have 1 increase row and 1 decrease row. Alright, now I'm kind of going to show you what I would do if I wanted to add stuff on, like make this row extend a little bit further. So I'm actually going to turn this part of the last row into an increase. That means just going under the thread and going back through that bead. So now we have this increase here, and we're just going to grab another bead, and much like we did with the ladder stitch, we're just going to make a circle. We're going to go back around, pop back out through the top, and then like I said, I kind of like to go through twice just to make sure it's nice and stable. I want to pop back out on the other side, and I'll show you that one more time. So you want to go through that bead, make a circle with your thread, oh yeah, and then we have those added back on. So if you wanted to continue the row from here, you just pop back out over here and then do your increase or decrease from here. If you wanted to pop back out on a specific bead that isn't on the end, I expect you just kind of weave through your piece. And then depending on where you want to start, you would want to grab 2 beads. And very similar to how you start and end, just a normal row, you'll grab the 2, go under and through that thread, and then back up your most recent bead. And there you go. And then of course to finish, you'll just want to weave your thread throughout your piece. I usually like to make a couple of circles. I feel like that makes it very stable. But this is kind of just a test, so all that good. And then you can just snip off the ends, and then you'd want to weave your tail throughout as well. But yeah, that is the basics of how to do the brick stitch. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I'll try to answer to the best of my abilities. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later. Bye!